and welcome back to another episode of Café Lily, with your hosts, Rosa and Kelsey. Kelsey and Rosa.
Thank you, Rosa. It's good to be here today. How are you doing? Oh, that doesn't sound good.
As you can see, I'm in the Café Lily bubble. I was sick yesterday.
You were sick, and yet you're so dedicated to Yuri that you would show up today.
Nothing's worse than being paused. Never make me pause my Yuri. So, we're treading old grounds today.
Yes, I did take your advice, and I have now watched all of MyGO.
You have. I seen it with you.
Yeah, I'm glad that you showed up for the last handful of episodes. It was nice to watch them together.
Me too. Just seeing those again is wonderful.
Especially since you seem to be going through it with Ave Mujica.
Where do I even begin on that? Oh my god. Can't wait for you to see it.
Yeah, I have watched up to episode 3, but I don't know about those girls.
If you thought MyGO was bad, Ave Mujica, it's even worse.
Well, MyGO did have plenty of teen drama, let's call it that.
Yeah, teen drama.
I feel like Ave Mujica goes a little bit beyond the scope of teen drama.
Oh, you're right, but ooh, just you wait to get up to 6. Oh boy. But that's for later. Now let's talk about MyGO. So we've been onto this path to MyGO because of a good friend of ours, Joy, also known as Dollar Days, recommending this series to us.
Yeah, we talked about it, well, you two talked about it in length on the previous episode, so we probably don't need to do another recap, but this time, since we're both in the know, we can approach it from the Yuri angle.
Yes.
Be careful.
I'm surviving. So, Kels, what do you think of the Yuri?
I think that there are plenty of Yuri opportunities depending on what your tastes are, and I know that you in particular are very keen on one particular pairing.
I'm Soyo Anon.
Now, you've been playing the mobile game, haven't you? So you have more knowledge of these characters than I do, who only watched the anime.
Yes.
So what's your thoughts on Soyo and Anon? Why do you think they're such a good pairing?
Definitely, Soyo is not the only one who's been really annoyed or openly annoyed at Soyo. There has been another one, Taki. But what makes her relation with Soyo more interesting is the angle that Soyo once said, "You're only a means to an end. I'm just using you." But makes it a bit more spicy. Yeah, it just makes it a bit more tense. It's like, in spite of all what she said, it didn't stop Anon from doing her best, from practicing that guitar, and then going up to Soya after everything's fixed up and saying, "I'm gonna start calling you by a cute nickname. You can't get rid of me now. Bye-bye. See you later." Soya's just like, "What? No. How dare you?"
Yeah, Soyo's a very interesting character. She was definitely my favorite of the show.
Yeah, you get the impression that, she was hiding more than she let on.
Yeah, when she's first introduced, it's very obvious that she is not as nice as she's pretending to be. But then, by the end of the show, she does a bit of a personality switch. But by then, you get the sense that she's also not as mean as she's pretending to be.
I like how Anna says to her, all that tells me that you're human, Soyo, which is a really funny takeaway to have.
You were telling me about Soyo and Anon before I got up to the second half of the show, and I was like, I don't know, I don't really see what you're getting at. And she said, no, you will see it.
Yeah, and now you do.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I don't think it's my favorite pairing out of the options that are available in the show.
Because there's someone else.
I think that Anon and Tomori could make a pretty compelling pairing.
Now explain your point.
Okay, the thing is, this isn't immediate. Like, they're not gonna go out and confess to each other today. This is many years in the future that I'm imagining. You know, if you watched the Precure ranking episode, that I like to look in pairings in the long term. But my vision for Anon is she and Tomori are best friends. They're always doing things together. They always go to the aquarium or the planetarium together. And they stay best friends for the rest of high school, even after. But maybe one day, while they're at a show, someone asks Tomori out. Like, someone's impressed by her singing and wants to go on a date with her. And I think this would just eat at Anon. I think she wouldn't even immediately identify it as jealousy, but that's what it would be. And then it would be up to her. It would be up to her to make that connection and come to terms with her feelings for Tomori.
Meaning Anna has to overcome another obstacle.
Yeah, you pointed this out to me, that it would be a challenge to get between Tomori and Taki.
Because Taki is like super obsessed with like Tomori.
Okay, I have a suggestion. I have an idea. Let's put this on the table.
Okay, do tell.
What do you say to Taki and Rana?
Okay, this is a funny one.
Do you think it could work?
This is tough. I see where you're coming from. But the issue is Rana only comes around for interesting women, and her main point of interest was Tomori.
What if Taki could show Rana just how interesting she could be?
It's not about showing that she can be interesting. It's about Rana feeling that she can be interesting.
I think that Taki could be pretty interesting if she let herself be emotionally honest for just 1 second.
You may have a point there, but Rana's a very fickle one.
Yeah.
Now, in the games, it does show that, like, on occasion, Rana will hang out with Taki, but, like, it's always a pain to Taki because Rana's always being so specific and stubborn, and, you know, like a cat. Like, Rana's so difficult to, like, watch over. But actually, I think the game shows that, like, Taki has like more interaction with Rana, but just because Taki is the kind of person who would put the effort, like making sure a person does what they need to do.
Okay, well, there are plenty of pairings to consider when you account for the Ave Mujica girls as well, but I'm not going to talk about that until I finish the show.
Yeah. The show's coming close to an end. I think there's like 2 episodes left, and oh my god. At this time, episode 11 just came out, and everyone's falling apart.
Even more than they already are?
Yes, it is possible.
Oh.
It's insane. Oh, and you're gonna get like a really funny revelation about a character.
Oh, really? Which one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let you know when I'm up to episode 6, because I promised you that we'd watch that one together.
Absolutely. Let me know. And you gotta start catching up.
Alright, well, other than that, what have you been reading lately?
So, I want to talk about Last Genre. I recently finished the entire series.
Oh, good.
As I said before, the first time I talked about it, it is a very wonderful read. It's very informal, and it's very empathetic. It wants to bring out like the different point of views, the different struggles, the pain, and it gives us like different people with different backgrounds. We actually get some characters that come back in the later chapter, and we're introduced to a new character, Tetsuya Kuga. Now, he's a student from a university. He was told to come to this bar, Now, California bar is a place that accepts different people with different backgrounds. So he came in to learn more about these people, to broaden his worldview a bit. And when he first comes in, he's very reluctant. He's very judgmental. He's like, hey, he sees like a couple. They're in like a polyamorous relationship. And he gets in trouble for a bit. He doesn't get kicked out, but he has to lead to rethink his, personal biases and get to know these people more. It then leads to him coming back and asking the owner of the bar, known as Yo, to have a place to work here because he definitely wants to know and wants to put the effort in throughout from there in the second volume to the end of the series. He learns about different people and their different backgrounds, and you see his growth about how he now approaches to learning about them, to understanding them. I do not want to spoil everything, every detail, because I definitely implore people to read this, but there is one thing I want to talk about. We go back to the story of this one businessman who is bi gender. We get a continuation of what happened. Mari came out to the other members of her family, and so actually led to conflict. Her daughter comes to the bar demanding them to give her father's stuff. She was just very upset that wondering why is my father being so careless like this? How could he do this? Does he think about the consequences or what would happen to us and the family? What would people think? And it's very heart-wrenching because Mari would be on the phone to tell the workers of the bar, oh, please allow my daughter to. I realized I ended up hurting my family by coming out like this. It's upsetting because the moment that it went well for him and his wife, it just didn't go well between him and his daughter, which is not a rare instance of a parent coming out to their child and then being rejected. Because we typically see instances and stories of how a child would come out to their parents and then they be rejected, but now this is another dynamic.
Yeah, that's a very real possibility.
We end up seeing another character that appeared earlier in the story who came out as another character who's pansexual from earlier into the story, who stops to talk with the daughter and tell her that just mentioned to her that hey, for your parent to come out to you like that must mean a lot, and how much braver it was to do so. And that's in simple terms, but it's just it has her thinking a little bit more about her relationship with her father, what's important for dad, and it's how does other people's factor really should come into consideration. For her, it was not out of malice or hate, but just out of fear and fright of what the world could do to her father if everyone knew. That it's just a lot of stuff in the book that's just ask to be empathetic, to find sympathy, to care. And then that's why I think Last Generation is a very strong read.
Yeah, everything you've talked about with the storylines that go on in it, they all seem very based in reality. That's something that could actually be happening to a family out there right now, or a couple, or an individual.
Yeah. Just reading this and seeing how humanizing it is to these people, to the type of things, the instances you would see these in mainstream media would use this as a joke or as a trope to establish negative connotations or say something pejoratively, but in reality it comes here and it asks you to look at it with empathy and to to understand, or at least understand that there are different people in different instances that may take a while to understand or 100%, but it's just worth just to be considerate.
Definitely. So did you read all the way to the final volume?
There's only about 3 volumes, but I finally finished reading it, and the ending is it's very heavy because it reveals something about Yale that's like, I would say going caught the warning, but also it's just it's very tragic, but at the very least, she does get a happy, Yale does get a happy ending. And it kind of comes back around to finally where somebody was building up to finally explain like what was Yale deal. So it's an amazing read. A heavy read here there, but also a wonderful read. I wish I could like articulate it a bit more better in the beginning, but like it's also like I don't want to spoil everything.
No, that's very reasonable. That definitely sounds like people should check it out for themselves if they want to understand it properly.
Yeah. Alright. I did mention to you that I had a theory or prediction for Love Bullet.
Oh, yes. You should share your love bullet theory, and then we can keep track of that and revisit it in the future.
So we know that it took 5 years for Koharu to wake up, right? 5 years since the incident. So when she died, she was being confessed to and everything. Now here's my theory. On the day of the incident, the day of her death, I believe it was a Cupid's work gone wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like at that moment Koharu was supposed to be hit with a bullet and fall in love, but something went wrong, and as a result, it ends with her getting killed, with her dying. This would mean it would most likely be Kana who has something to do with it, because she made it her mission to help Koharu come back to life and find love.
Okay, so you think that potentially Koharu is going to find out about this down the line and there's going to be a falling out between them?
Yes, possibly.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Because so far we haven't seen like the other's motivation to work as a Cupid or to come back to life. Because Kana was quick to help say that like, oh, don't worry, Koharu, I'll make sure you come back to life and I'll help you find love. So, who knows? Maybe Kana was around longer. Maybe Kana was like a rookie then. Who knows?
Okay, we'll have to keep a close eye on Love Bullet and find out where that goes.
Now this is just a theory. It could be proven wrong. Oh yeah, I hope we get some more Love Bullet soon. Please live, Love Bullet, please live.
Well, thank you for sharing that. It was great to hear that from you, that we definitely recorded on the same day.
Yeah, where I sound less sicker suddenly. So Kelsey, that was, unless you have something else to talk about, that was an installment of Café Lily.
Yes, thank you for showing up for Yuri, even in sickness.
Of course, through sickness and death, I will be there for Yuri. Hopefully next time, we have a lot more to say. Maybe, by then, we will be all caught up with Ave Mujica.
Yeah, hopefully. Maybe we'll even have some interesting manga that we've read.
Yeah, and maybe we could have some returning guests to talk about Ave Mujica with.
Ooh, we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
And we'll see you next Yuri.
See you next Yuri.